Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Power Boost meditation. Today, the thought was to experiment with simplify and simplify. Simplify and simplify. The word simplify means just to look at the simplicity of everything. Many times, we tend to confuse ourselves by looking at complexity of things. The more complex my thinking becomes, the more it gets confused. And so through meditation, the thinking becomes very easy, very simple. And so when we look at the process of simplification, there are essentially two steps. You see, the first is to identify the essential, and the second is to eliminate the rest. So I identify the essential and eliminate the rest. What is essential? What is important for me? And me is I, the invisible being. In any scene of life, what is it that is important for me, the invisible being? And as we look at life, we see that there are two energies going on. One is the visible energy, and the other is the invisible energy. We tend to focus our attention on the visible energy a lot more. We say visible, how things are, how something will happen. It's like our thoughts are occupied with the visible. And when we are simplifying, identifying the essential, we're identifying or looking at or acknowledging the presence of the invisible. As I'm looking at someone, let me just appreciate, acknowledge the invisible being that is holding the visible. Even in my relationships, rather than looking at the visible aspect, let me just focus on the invisible energy of unconditional love, acceptance in my relationships. It's just like the art of looking at the invisible is to identify the essential. The tree is the expansion, the visible, but the seed is invisible. But the power is carried in the seed, the invisible. So I just identify the essential and eliminate the rest. And automatically I have simple thoughts. And a very good example of simple thinking is to learn from children. Children have simple thinking. They don't take life very seriously. They'll, even if they'll have a challenge or something, they'll go for it. They won't, nothing can stop them. If they want something, they'll just go after it. Even if they have a fight with their friend, they'll just forget it, and the next moment they'll start to play. So this is something that we can really learn from children, and to realize that some time back, we were all children. So we all have that capacity to simplify our thinking. And when the thoughts are simple, they are essential, they are powerful, then I can fly. Just like if you look at a butterfly feeds on the nectar. It doesn't feed on a lot of things, but just on the nectar. So the more my mind entertains, holds, absorbs, sees the essence, the essential, the invisible, it becomes like a butterfly. It's able to fly. So to simplify and to simplify. And so let us experiment with this thought of just simplifying. So let us, in this meditation experience, return to our childhood. Return to that part of the self that doesn't know what it means to think too much, just knows how to be myself. So let us take our thoughts. I know my role, my life right now. And let me take it back, let's say 5 years back. It was a different story at that time, maybe different characters I was interacting with, different roles, responsibilities I had that time. And then again 5 years back. Let me look at my character, my story at that time. It was completely different. Different set of events, different places probably. And another 5 years. And if I go back to where I was really a small child, and to just appreciate the simplicity with which I used to look at things, simplicity with which I used to look at people, simplicity with which I used to just interact with everyone. And now, if I take my consciousness before I was a child, before I took on the body, the costume, and so I realized that there was a time that I actually entered this costume. This tiny little point of light, the being, the invisible actor, the soul. And I realized that now I am just looking at myself as a point of light. In this moment, there is no body, there is no name, there is no form, just a point of light. No other story. I have simplified myself. I simplify I. From the roles, the stories, to I, the being, the soul, the invisible, the star. And it is natural for the soul, the star, to be flying. So in a moment, let me just fly up. Flying above, experiencing the freedom, experiencing the unlimited sky. Above and beyond the story. The story world is down below. And we see this unlimited sky. And I see myself as this tiny little point of light, flying above, beyond, in the dimension of silence. And here, I experience the security of just being myself. There is absolutely nothing that I need from the story. I am secure, safe in the way I am, in just being myself in this moment, above, beyond. My identity, my truth lies in this simplicity of being this tiny little star. This is natural for me. This is real for me. And here in this dimension of silence, there's nothing I have to do. I just have to be. I just have to be myself. Let me just experience being myself. This beautiful energy that only knows how to love unconditionally, that only knows how to give unconditionally. Energy that only knows how to be happy unconditionally. There are no conditions to my inner state of being. It is natural for me to be this way. And I experience that not just me, but the entire family of souls. We are all like this. This is our natural state, our ground state. In this state of being, we are simple. We don't know what it is to think too much, to get confused in the detail. Just hold the essence naturally. And we begin to experience this beautiful presence of the divine. The divine whose mind is simple, whose heart is unlimited. It's just pouring out love for every single being. And I experience myself to be surrounded by this unconditional energy of love of the divine. Like a small child, I, the soul, I belong to the divine. My mind rests on the divine. And just by resting my mind on the divine, I find that strength, that power to be myself. And as we come back, we realize that this simplicity is our true self. As we come into the visible dimension, we just carry that essence with us back in the real world, in the story. And we realize that from time to time, I just need to feed myself with this nectar, this essence. Be a butterfly and then fly away. And when I'm here on this stage, to enjoy, to celebrate, to love, to give, to share, to care and inspire. Om Shanti.